Rachel Fish.
Hey,
What's up, my friend?
nothing much. Nothing and everything all at once. There's always something going on. Yeah.
That's the life of an entrepreneur and tech leader. It's good to see you. So you and I go way back. I think 10 years. T-Sheets Council. 20.
Yeah. So I was going back even further. So that's when you and I actually met because I actually remember that meeting because I met Chad Ridner
That's right.
at the Connect before that.
That's right.
And we were talking about, I think Jeremy Allen was there as well. It was like the three of us.
Yeah.
And we were talking about my experience. So I was in the process of, or something like that, going from my own bookkeeping firm at the time to Deloitte.
That's right.
And it was, I know there's like a story out there about how it got acquired, by Deloitte and everybody's happy. It was actually a complete implosion and it was a disaster and the bit. So yeah, so we were just kind of talking about that stuff, and it was funny because so Chad was like, you have to talk to Joe, like I need to introduce you to Joe. And then I'm not sure what happened, but we didn't meet that connect at all. And then when I saw your face pop up on the T-Sheets, I think it was like the inaugural
This is the first. Yeah.
T-Sheets Pro Council, I'm like, you're the Joe, you're
Amazing. No, I felt the same. Felt the same. I mean, you had fish books back in the day, and I remember
back
thinking
in the
like,
day.
"Hey, Rachel has it going on." Like, I think you were one of the first like cloud progressive firms and
Yeah,
remote culture and getting into the tech space. I'm like,
yeah.
it's cool.
And
So
at the time, it was just in little Brandon, Manitoba, just a pretty small town. And um, I was originally called Fish Financial because I liked the alliteration, and my logo was like these pretty two little F's together. And then everybody thought that I sold investment and insurance.
that's right.
So, so I rebranded to Fish Books, which, I mean, it was a bit of on the play. It was a little bit of a play on FreshBooks, which I thought was
Oh,
hilarious.
yeah.
And then a few years ago, when I met FreshBooks executives, they did not quite think it was quite as funny as I thought it was. They're like, "Can we sue you?" No, not really,
Yeah.
but it was like I thought it was hilarious, and that humor was not shared.
Love it. Love it. Well, let's get into it. We're doing something a little fun today. No
Yeah.
pun intended. So I asked Rachel what her favorite childhood snack was, and would love for her to share a little bit about it. I bought it as well.
Yes.
The childhood fun dip. I have
The
not had one of these since
fun
I was probably 8 or 9, and the Amazon guy literally made me sign for it. I was like,
bit.
"What contraband is this now?"
No kidding. So first of all, how many of them did you buy?
It was like a pack of 20, and I only have 3 left. If that tells you. The children have gone through
I
this.
apologize, Mrs. Carufe, for having to deal with your oversugared boys. Um,
That's right. That's right.
yeah, so I did not get. My husband, who I sent on a mission to find me some fun dips,
Nice.
got like the so here's the thing is that it has three different flavors. So we've got um, orange, cherry, and grape, and it comes with two sticks.
Solid. Man,
So,
that's an American
right?
size version of Fun Dip.
And of course, because we're in Canada, we have English and French, right? So here we've got
Hey, yeah.
cherry, and here we've got cerise. Orange is the same, and then grape is raisin. Um, and of course, I always love the nutritional information on candy. It's like,
Yeah, that's right.
what are you even saying? Okay, so have you figured out how to eat a fun dip yet? Like, how do you eat a fun dip?
I mean, I ripped the top open, and then usually I just eat the stick. And this stuff is crazy. My 3-year-old got into this, and his hands were blue. All from.
So
I'm not a blue one. I'm gonna spare my mouth from that.
what I like about the ones that you got is that they change color and they change flavor. So these are pretty basic flavors, and they're just the color is what the colors are. So I have a bit. people come, they make fun of me at how particular I am about the way that I eat certain
Right.
foods. So I tried to rip it as close to kind of the glue as possible because I want my package to keep getting smaller as I eat it. Okay. So I've got my stick. These sticks used to be light pink. They're now white. Is yours light pink?
No, it's white.
Oh, yeah. So they didn't used to be white. I don't know why, but they're
Oh,
pink.
yeah. No
And
color.
then, because I don't want to disrupt this stick, and it would be weird to dig into one of these in the middle, so I always start with the one on the end.
You got a whole system here.
I do. And I
When's
rip as
the last time you
close
had
to
one?
where the. What's that?
When's the last time you had one of these?
I mean, yesterday, because we got a few extra. I mean, I have to do my testing.
Right.
So I don't rip it up near the top. I rip it as low down as I can,
Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right?
Yeah,
And then, because what we want to do, Joe, is we want to. So this is all that I ripped off. It's like half the size. Because it's all about getting as much of the powder on the stick as possible. And you can do it if it's really close to the top.
I'm following your instructions here. I did not do that I ate. That's very smart. All right, tell me about Fun Dip, Rachel. What's it remind you of? What the
So
memories you have?
as a kid, we never had a cottage or cabin, whatever you refer to them in your region. But when my grandparents retired, they bought a house on a lake that was a very cottagey type house.
Right.
This was like remote, where it wouldn't get plowed in the winter, which in Northern Ontario and Canada, that's kind of a thing.
Quite a bit.
I also need to highlight that it's not about just dipping it in. So you're just dipping it in and then,
Yeah, yeah.
no, it's about getting as much as you possibly
Oh,
can.
you're getting a scoop. Which that makes sense on the half rip here. You couldn't do that if you had to
Right?
go all the way in the bag.
Exactly.
See.
But you're taking it really literally with the dip. I guess am closer to like fun scoop.
Nice. We'll rebrand it. That's how we're gonna make our millions, Rachel. One scoop.
So we had this cottage. We called it the cottage, but it was their house on a lake. The lake would freeze in the winter, so we would skate and snowshoe on the lake. My grandpa had an ice fishing hut out on the lake, which always smelled like propane and fish because
Oh,
you need a propane heater in the fishing hut, and you have fish there. But it was a cozy little thing, you know. I mean, some of these ice huts are like really cozy. But yeah, we would go ice fishing in the summer. Of course, we would go canoeing, regular fishing. It was, you know, surrounded in forest, so we would build forts everywhere. But it was on a small little lake in the Muskoka region in Ontario, so one of kind of the big, you know, cottage regions in Ontario. And it was on a tiny little lake called Star Lake.
Hmm.
And kind of down and around the corner of the lake was this place called Star Lake Lodge. And so there was a little convenience store. I mean, convenience stores in cottage country, first of all, are the best anyway, because they sell everything from like candy to bait to like
yeah,
laundry detergent, like everything you could possibly need while you're at the cottage, right? But then they also had like a few little cottages for rental um on there as well. So we would either ride our bikes or we would walk down to Star Lake Lodge and we would buy their candies. And so one of them was the Fun Dip.
so fun.
There were also like these black, I think they were called black balls. We called them black balls anyway, but they were like black licorice flavored jaw breakers.
Oh yeah.
Um, Also, you know, the strawberry marshmallows, like marshmallow on the inside and it's like strawberry sugar, or like the marshmallow bananas.
I don't know if I've ever had that before. I don't know if we
Okay.
have this in the U.S.
I'll need to bring this to you. But yeah, it's Fun Dip. And here's the here's more of the story of Fun Dip and then its relation to the business world. So Fun Dip used to be called Lickamade. I don't know if you see it on your package.
Oh yeah, how
So
about
it
that?
used to be called Lickamade, which you only got the sweet stuff. There were no sticks. So you were using your finger, you were pouring it in your mouth. So it was called Lickamade, right? Still there. We would also replicate this by using Kool-Aid and sugar and then just eating it and then trying to convince our parents that we had not done that while our mouths are
That's
totally
right.
like blue or red or whatever color it was, right?
Yeah,
So we
the
would just do the
red
same thing with Kool-Aid and sugar. Um, but then it went from Lick-a-Maid to they added the stick. It became Lick a Stick.
yeah. Branding
And then, do you have Lick a Stick on there as well?
uh,
It's like
is not there, not on this
they're
one.
rebranding, but without ever deprecating the old brand. It's like I've got Lick-a-Maid,
That's
I've got Lick a Stick, and then they rebranded the whole thing to just be Fun Dip. So it was like as a kid, and like it keeps changing, but really it's the same thing.
yeah.
So
It's,
yeah, that's my
it's all on the stick. Like I could just eat these all day, every day. It's like candy
yes.
cigarettes. I don't know if you have those in Canada, but I have
Have what?
candy cigarettes.
Yes.
Basically, like I could just.
Do they still like blow out a bit of like white powder?
They have those, yeah.
Okay, yeah,
But these are like just the stick part, anyway.
yeah, yeah. No, they're tasty. And I would do that as well. Or like yours. Oh, did you chew it or did it break?
I've been chewing it. I
Mm.
can't help myself.
But sometimes if you suck it too hard, or if it's, or if you like really trying to get a big scoop and then it breaks. Yeah.
Just go
So
get
yeah, there is a little bit of self-control in terms of making sure that you don't break your stick too soon so that you can't use it for its intended purpose, which
no,
is to
I'm almost out already. And so probably good. Saving me from the red 40 that's in there.
hmm
Well, I love that. Love that story and walk down memory lane. Similar memories of the camping little store that has the very sugary candy in it.
yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Well, love the transition. You've got, I think, just an amazing background in the accounting community and the tech community.
Thank you.
You've gone through being in-house accounting to owning your own practice to selling into big four to moving to big tech to niche firm to niche tech again, and now you've got niche tech and niche firm.
Yeah.
Uh, so
Why
just
not, right?
super impressive. Yes, right. Why not? We'd love to hear, from a Dex perspective, what's going on there, what's exciting. Uh,
Yeah.
we'd love to transition on the realty tax and just what you're building there on the niche practice side.
Yeah, for sure. So I started at Dext February of this year, February 2024. Honestly, I mean the an opportunity came up. I had a I would say I was gonna say I had a relationship with this CEO, Sabby. It really wasn't that. It was that we worked at Sage at the same time. So my first technology job was Sage software. Um, and the reason why I even went from, the accounting world to the tech world to begin with, was that I was at Deloitte. So I had, again, big implosion of my own practice, took a role at Deloitte to be their lead bookkeeping cloud person. But then I realized very quickly that they didn't actually know what they were doing and underestimated how much they would trust those that they hired to do the thing. Like, if you're going to hire people
Mm.
to do the thing that you want to achieve, then you need to trust that they're going to do it, right? And so that was extremely challenging, but I've met some phenomenal people there who I continue to be in touch with. One is, one of the leads for professional services in Intuit Canada. Another one is regional sales leader for Zero. Like, I think that everybody from that time, we've gone on to do some really cool things. So, but it was also a passion of mine to support bookkeepers that were also going through the journey that I felt I was still on, although I may have gotten a bit of a head start or may have been, a little bit further down the road. and just kind of helping them with their journey. And I created a Facebook group that, there were a few thousand bookkeepers in, and um, was really active with QuickBooks and being at events, and I was the lead trainer for a while. So I felt like there was something to contribute. And so this role at Sage came along, and it wasn't a technology role per se. It was really kind of assisting in the leadership of the accounting group or the accounting channel, right? What do they need to be successful? All of that kind of stuff. So, but I was always, being a tech savvy accountant, it was interesting to then take everything that he knew about accounting and accountants and actually, be on the tech side of things. So that was a good kind of introduction to the tech world. So that was the first role. So while I was there, and I was there for about 3.5 years, the interesting thing about Sage is that not it's such a big company that depending on what product you're working on, what team you're on, what region you're in, like all of that kind of stuff, you kind of run across people who are like-minded in terms of their cloud innovation and stuff like that, or in some cases don't. And so where you find, kind of your people, those who get it, those who want, really good things for the profession, really want to move innovation forward. We almost not, it wasn't like a code, but it was like you figured out who those were, who the good people were. And
Sure.
then when they found good people, they would like reach back out to you and say, connect with this person. He's a good person, right? Or she's a good person. And so Sabi was one of those people. So we had a mutual connection in Jules Carmen. And, but I was starting to do more with the UK team, which is, he was the head of UK and Ireland at the time. And so I was doing more. So it was like, we almost kind of started to work together a little bit in terms of what I was working on with the global team in the UK. And then he left. And then I'm like, but you're one of the good ones.
Right.
And so I don't even think we've been on a meeting together, but yeah, anyway, we connected on LinkedIn and kept in touch with each other and kept up, what each other was working on or up to or whatever. And he went somewhere else after Sage. But then when I saw he had joined Dex, I'm like, okay, this is cool. Like, so I sent him out a congratulations, like, they need you. This is going to be amazing. And we just kind of kept in touch after that. So, fast forward a little while, and I had already purchased my firm, but was looking at how can I be less of a financial burden on my firm, so that we could reinvest, what I would have been taking out of the firm, we can reinvest to grow. And so I was like, well, I'll just kind of put it out there. Let's see if there's another way to bring in some income. And very shortly thereafter, and I hadn't told anybody besides, our tax manager, that I was even thinking of that, but I he reached out and he's like, hey, we should reconnect. I'm like, yeah, we totally should. Here's my link. Book it. And then a couple weeks later, hey, we should reconnect. I'm like, yeah, here's my link. You can book some time with me. And then it was a couple weeks went by and he's like, so would you come back to technology? And I was like, book on the link. Like, let's just have a conversation.
Yeah.
And honestly, it took me a little bit to try to figure out what the ask was for. Like it's a community manager job. Like what is it that you think Dex needs that you think I have? Like I'm not anyway. And he's like, well, GM for North America. And what?
Yeah.
So I mean, here's the thing with Dext is that, formerly Recipe, it was one of the first apps, back before Xero was a thing in North America, or, very few people knew about it. And QBA was going really hard, just starting to introduce even what an app was, what an ecosystem was. There were two apps that were really on the forefront of that. Practice Ignition, which is now Ignition, and Recipe, that is now Dext. And so it was kind of like all of the firms around that time, that was what you built your practice on, right? And so and Carbon, I mean, I took a demo for Carbon before they even had the email integration. Wayne reached out, yeah, and he's like, I have to tell you about this platform that we're building. And And we had a really great call, and I was like, I don't really get it because it's the email piece that like makes it as impactful, right? But this was what that time was like, where we're all trying to figure out this cloud thing and how it worked. And so, I mean, what's been really amazing about this receipt bank or Dex journey is that I've gone from, starting to use it back in, it was at like 2014 at the latest. Like, I think it was a little earlier than that.
Mm.
So I've seen the ups and downs, product wise and staff wise and focus wise and market wise and all of this stuff. And you've seen where they've done well and where they haven't done so well. But I've seen all of that from a partner perspective, like from a user of the product, from getting clients onboarded onto it for a really long time. And I mean, this was in my own practice. This was while I was at Deloitte. I facilitated the integration with Sage while I was there. Like, this is a product that I very firmly believed in terms of the impact on efficiencies and automation for us cloud folks. And to now be in a position or having a conversation with the CEO about leading one of their markets, like, holy crap, it was big. It was big. So what I've said is that I'm here because I love the product, not the other way around.
Yeah.
I don't love the product because it's my job to love the product.
Yeah.
I love the product because I genuinely believe in its level of impact and, again, efficiency and automation. Um, that just adds so much to cloud firms.
Yeah, absolutely. Love that. I'm getting a little bit of feedback on your microphone, by the way. I don't know if sounds like
I
there's a.
thought it was sorry, I thought it was you.
Oh, really? Okay.
It
I have.
sounded like there was a window open and it was traffic noise.
That's. I thought it was your side. I was like, man, is it downpouring over there? I
No.
think we can. I think we can edit it out. Um, actually, I'll mute myself, see if that fixes it. Uh, all right, it's fixed on my end.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, that's crazy.
Okay.
I think we can
Sorry
edit
about
that.
that.
Anyway, all good. I was like, is she okay? Is there a downpour?
No, I'm in the basement. Like, you wouldn't even hear it if I was.
That's crazy. No, I love that background, and I think same as you, like 10, 12, 13 years ago when I first got started, it was QBO, receipt bank, ignition,
Yeah.
and like we were early on Carbon,
Yeah.
Fathom for reporting. There
Yeah.
wasn't many like on the App Store. It was like in
No.
T-sheets. I think it was
She's
like
right.
those
Yeah.
4 or 5. There's probably
Yeah.
some more
No, there wasn't a lot. Yeah.
um, and like we built our practices around it, and it was like almost so simple back in the day, like less influencers too. So it's like, oh, you could look at Fish books and be like, it's working, whatever you're doing, like
Yeah.
whatever you're having, I'm having.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
and it's just crazy how like that bred so many of these firm owners today. It's like, hey, this worked, it's trusted,
Yeah.
just so anyway, love that story. And even as a firm owner for you, 10 plus years, would love to know just any advice before we wrap up. What do you have for firm, either entrepreneurs wanting to get in, those that are looking to exit? I mean, you've run the gambit of starting from scratch, from selling to buying.
Bye.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what's your advice here as we wrap up to folks that are, in any of those seasons of their firm?
And I think so. I mean, honestly, that's where I would leave it. There is no one right way,
Hmm.
right? Whether you're building from scratch, whether you're buying, whether you're merging, whether you find an amazing partner and you're like, we have to figure out a way to work together, right? Um, there is no one right way. Whatever is right for you is the right way. And however it goes is the way that it's supposed to happen. And I mean, how many times have we connected and then, lose track of each other and then reconnect? And then I think what's so amazing is just how powerful the cloud community continues to be. It's pretty rare that there's a cloud firm in Canada that comes up or that starts to grow and you don't hear about it or you don't meet them at the next QuickBooks event or you don't, right? um, the ones that are really making an impact, part of which is because they value the community and what the community brings to each other, and how we just feed off each other and build each other and build each other up. And so for me, I think that part of that um, comes with being part of that original crew when there were half a dozen apps, and everything that you've worked through, or all of the overwhelm that you've worked through to get your business to where it is. So yeah.
Love it. Love it. Wonderful advice. Yeah. And it's glad to have you in the industry. Love what Dex is doing. Love that you've got influence there. And Realty Tax, just watching what you've built over there. I think there's so many firms that have tried to go the niche route. And I mean, you're seeing the impact of that, even just
Oh
talking
God.
to you today about just
Yeah.
the impact you can have on a certain segment of realtors and a connection and the financial planners. And
Yeah.
I think the sky's the limit for Realty Tax. I think the sky's the limit for Dex, and just so thankful we've had our friendship for 10 plus years and hang
Yeah.
out and eat some fun dip and get our sugar intake in for the week.
I know, I've got two more colors to eat. I mean, look at this. I've got a ways to go here.
I saw my razzle dazzle, which is going to change the color of my organs for.
Blue raspberry and apple. It's very good. It's very good.
Anyway, so good to see you. Thanks for the time,
You too.
Rachel.
Talk to
Bye.
you later.